Again, Blue Coal Dealers present radio's strangest adventurer, the Shadow, mystery man who strikes terror into the very hearts of shopsters, lawbreakers, and criminals. Today, Blue Coal brings you the Shadow's latest adventure, the Plot Murder. In just a moment, the Shadow's exciting adventure will begin. Meanwhile, I have something important to tell all you homeowners. During this treacherous winter season, you can protect your family's health by burning blue coal. For blue coal's harmless blue coloring is your guarantee of clean, uniform, healthful heat all winter long. Blue coal saves you money, too, for it burns steadily, completely, down to a fine, powdery ash. So next time you're buying fuel, ask for blue coal by name. It's Pennsylvania's finest anthracite. Order a trial ton from your nearest blue coal dealer tomorrow. An important announcement. Just before going on the air with today's adventure of the Shadow, we received a telegram from the American Police Review, presenting the Shadow with a special award. Be sure to hear this official presentation at the close of this program. And now, Blue Coal presents the Shadow in the Plot Murder.
Captain Hines, read the findings of this court-martial.
We find the accused, Lieutenant John Wilson, guilty of treasonable sabotage against the government.
No!
In that he willfully destroyed a secret device known as the flying torpedo, invented by one Georges Arkeles and acquired exclusively for use by the government.
Has the prisoner anything to say before sentence is pronounced?
Yes.
Yes, but what can he say? He admits he broke the mechanism on the demonstration torpedo.
Quiet, please, Professor Arkeles. As the inventor, we understand your concern in this matter. But please don't interrupt. Well, Lieutenant Wilson?
I don't know, sir. I can hear all that's going on, but I went into the...
It's obvious, General Levitt, that Lieutenant Wilson is not mentally accountable.
He was sufficiently accountable to enter the testing shed by virtue of his authority as an Army lieutenant and to tamper with the flying torpedo and render it useless the very day it was to be demonstrated to the government. Read the sentence of the court.
Lieutenant Wilson, this court decides, subject to the approval of the President, that you will be dishonorably discharged from the service of your country and sentenced to imprisonment for the term of...
No! Look out, he's got a revolver! Don't shoot! That's the man, Professor Arkeles! He's wounded, Professor Arkeles!
Forward, Doctor. Take Lieutenant Wilson back to his cell.
Lamont Cranston, I tell you, John Wilson can't be guilty. He just can't.
Well, why not, Margot? After all, traitorous Army officers are not unknown to history.
Yes, but the peculiar way John Wilson talked on the stand makes me think there's something strange about the whole thing. He acted, well, almost like a man in a trance. Lamont, just what is this flying torpedo he's supposed to have tampered with?
Well, that's what its name implies, a sort of aerial torpedo filled with high explosive flying under its own power. And once it's launched into the air, instead of flying a predetermined course, its direction can be guided by radio beams from an observation plane flying high above it.
Oh, I see.
Imagine its tremendous effectiveness in warfare, deadly accuracy in hitting even a fast-moving target like a troop train or a supply ship.
Sounds tremendously important. Who invented it?
This man Arkeles, who was to demonstrate it last week at the proving grounds before a large delegation from the capital. Besides the members of the War Department, a great many high officials and other branches of the government were to attend the test.
Well?
Since your friend Wilson gained access to the laboratory and put the flying torpedo out of commission, the test has been postponed until tomorrow.
And who is Arkeles? Where did he come from?
A famous foreign inventor. He's quite a reputation abroad.
Lamont, you don't suppose it's possible Arkeles has the boy under some strong mental influence?
Possible.
They've got Wilson temporarily in the city jail. Won't you call on him as the Shadow?
Margot, do you honestly think that this case warrants my attention as the Shadow?
Lamont, I don't ask many favors, but I have a feeling John Wilson is innocent.
All right, Margot, if you're really serious, the Shadow will pay a call on John Wilson in the city jail.
in that last cell, Professor Arkeles.
Thank you, guard. This pass that General Levitt gave me. Do you take it or do I keep it?
And you better keep it, sir, in case you want to use it again.
Yes, that's right.
You'll have to talk to Wilson through the bars. No one's allowed in his cell.
Thank you. I have no desire to go in. I already have one arm in a sling due to the young man's temper. There's only one or two questions I want to ask him, then I'll leave.
Very well. Well, who is it?
You! Arkeles! Don't get excited, Lieutenant Wilson. I only came to tell you that you're a much better mechanic than a marksman. Your bullet only injured my arm.
I'm only sorry I didn't
Kill me? It's the only way you can break the spell I have over you, isn't it? To kill me.
Will somebody come?
Look in my eyes.
No.
Look.
No, I won't.
John Wilson. Look in my eyes.
No!
Look in my eyes, Wilson. That's right. Now repeat after me. I destroyed the torpedo. I destroyed the torpedo. Say it.
I destroyed the torpedo.
Sabotage against my country.
Sabotage against my country.
I am guilty.
I am guilty.
And that is all you remember.
Are you sure that's all he remembers? Professor Arkeles?
Who said that? Guard! You are there?
No, not the guard, Professor. He's waiting at the end of the passage.
You hide somewhere. In the next cell, perhaps?
No, I'm here. In the shadows, Professor Arkeles. Perhaps you've heard of me.
Who are you?
The Shadow.
The Shadow?
Help me. Help me.
I am your friend, John Wilson. Think now. Concentrate. What is it you're trying to remember?
It's that torpedo. Dangerous.
Wilson, keep quiet.
Steady now. Think. Think. You can break through this spell.
I tried to make them understand.
Stop.
I destroyed the torpedo
I
because...
command you to stop.
John, your friends believe in you. They're trying to help you.
Wilson, what have you committed?
Sabotage against my country. I am guilty. I am guilty.
So, Mr. Shadow, whoever you are, you see,
You have a powerful spell over the boy, Professor. But there is a way to break it.
what way, Shadow?
If you don't know, I have no intention of telling you. Yet. Margot Lane. Margot Lane, stand by. Arkeles has put Wilson under some strong mental influence, a sort of hypnotic telepathy. The boy's subconscious is dominated by the thoughts Arkeles plants there. We must weaken Arkeles' hold on Wilson's mind so we can find out if he's guilty or not. Stand ready for another call. Tonight I'm going to pay a surprise visit to Professor Arkeles at his hotel. I have a feeling that if we're not successful in getting Wilson to talk, this country of ours may suffer a terrible disaster.
Barra, lock the door.
All right.
Did anyone follow you here to the hotel?
No one, Professor Arkeles.
Good. The test will take place tomorrow?
Yes, at 3 o'clock. The War Department is so convinced your invention will render any nation possessing it invincible that the high command of both the Army and Navy are to be there to witness the test.
The president, too?
Yes, the President and the Vice President expect to attend, together with the Secretary of War and the Secretary of the Navy.
Sir, they've fallen into my trap. They'll be blown off the face of the earth just as I planned.
Barloff, be sure you make a final inspection before the torpedo is taken out of the grounds. And see that the steering mechanism is set.
I understand. But since I am your chief assistant, they might ask me to go along with them.
No, they won't. I'll fix that. Their bungling army mechanics think they understand the flying torpedo perfectly. So to satisfy their pride, I've let them take complete charge of the demonstration.
Good.
Don't worry, Barloff.
And afterwards?
Afterwards, with the guiding brains of the nation wiped out at a single stroke, the country will be thrown into confusion, disorganized. So we'll have nothing to fear.
I see.
There are only two things that bother me slightly, though. Lieutenant Wilson, for one.
Wilson? Did he really discover the secret trick of the steering mechanism?
Yes, he knows what we intend to do and how we intend to do it.
You should have disposed of him at once.
I thought of that. I was afraid it would arouse suspicion. But I'm keeping Wilson under mental hypnotic control until it's too late for him to stop us.
Wouldn't it be better if he were dead?
Perhaps. I can still visit him at the prison.
And what is the other thing that bothers you, Professor?
Only a shadow, Barloff. But I'm not quite sure of the extent of its power.
A shadow?
Don't worry, I think I can take care of it, too. Listen.
What is it?
I thought I heard footsteps outside in the hall. Go and look.
There's no one here. All is empty.
Must be my nerves. I'll be glad when this is all over.
Our escape is taken care of.
Yes, the freighter will be waiting for us at South Pier. But go now, Carl. And success to you.
Good night, Professor.
Good night, Barloff. The shadow. If I can't put my willpower against the shadow, then I deserve to lose. And I've never yet...
Good evening, Professor Arkeles.
You? The shadow, you've come?
Yes, Professor. Why do you hold Lieutenant Wilson in a hypnotic spell, Professor?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We shall see. And now I have something else to tell you.
What?
Wilson knows something about you, Professor. And I'm going to find out what it is.
All right, Shadow. You know a little, but you'll never learn more from Wilson. No one can break the spell, not you, nor all your childish magic.
You forget. Greater magic, Arkeles.
What?
Death.
Death?
Yes, it's on the way, Professor. And I can promise you this, if any blood is shed, it will be yours, not the shadow's.
The second part of the Shadow's adventure will continue in just a moment. Meanwhile, here's some interesting information. Every day, more and more families throughout this area are saving money on their heating and cooking bills. These families are getting better and more economical heat than ever before with blue coal. Blue coal is anthracite. It is an American product mined by the Glen Alden Coal Company, who are deeply grateful for the purchases of blue coal by families throughout this area. Today, blue coal is the largest selling brand of home fuel in America because it is the only fuel that so satisfactorily combines all of the essentials necessary for perfect heating results. It is superior in quality, cleaner than most fuels, and economical because it burns long and steadily down to a fine powdery ash. Furthermore, there can be no substitution when ordering blue coal because it is the only solid fuel actually trademarked with a blue tint so that you can identify it at a glance. These are a few reasons why in Watertown, New York, blue coal sales this winter show a 29% increase over the same period a year ago. So take a tip from Watertown, New York families. Order blue coal by name. You will find the name of your nearest blue coal dealer listed in the Where to Buy It section of your classified telephone directory under the name Blue Coal.
But I tell you, General Levitt...
Excuse me, Colonel.
Go right ahead, General.
Hello? General Levitt speaking. Oh, yes. Good morning, Captain Hines. That's fine. You have the flying torpedo loaded and ready for the demonstration? Good. I'll expect a report. Sorry I can't be with you. Goodbye. Now, Cranston, to get back to this Lieutenant Wilson. I don't see what I can do.
But there may be some desperate plot at the bottom of this. Wilson acts as if he'd been put under some powerful hypnotic spell. He might know something about this flying torpedo that you ought to know.
For heaven's sake, Cranston, I haven't time to listen to any such drivel. I know you're a very agreeable young man, and you mean well, but you're letting your imagination run away with you. Now, if you don't mind, I must get ready to leave for the capital.
Very well. Just do me one favor, General Levitt. Might prove something to you.
Well, what is it?
Suggest to Professor Arkeles that he be present with the other official visitors at the proving ground. The demonstration starts.
Of course, Professor Arkeles will be there. Why shouldn't he be?
That's what I'd like to know. Unless I'm very much mistaken, General, Professor Arkeles has made arrangements to be far, far away from the scene of his triumph.
George Cranston, I believe you know something.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, well?
There are two gentlemen here to see you, sir. Professor Arkeles and another man.
Oh, all right. Show them in.
General Levitt will see you, General.
Thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, General Levitt.
That's all right. This is Mr. Cranston, Professor Arkeles, and Mr. Barlow.
How do you do?
How do you do?
If you don't mind, Mr. Cranston, I'd like to speak to General Levitt alone.
Not at all. I'm sure you have weighty matters to discuss.
Good day, gentlemen.
Thanks, Cranston. Goodbye. Oh, orderly.
Yes, General Levitt.
Is my luggage ready?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Then take the next train. Yeah, there's one leaving in 20 minutes. Can you make it?
Yes, sir, if I go now, sir.
Go ahead, then. I'll close the office. I'll meet you in the capital tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, what brings you here, Professor?
Very nice.
Oh, sit down, Mr. Barlow.
Thank you, sir. Barlow here has just returned from the proving ground, General. He supervised the loading of the torpedo early this morning.
Everything was all right, I hope?
Perfect. Your Army mechanics seem very proud they're going to handle the torpedo by themselves. Of course, we'll be anxious to know how it comes out.
Oh, aren't you going to be at the demonstration, Professor Arkeles?
I'm afraid not. Another engagement, unfortunately, prevents my attending.
Oh, yes, I see. But I can't understand how anything could be more important to you than seeing your own invention demonstrated before the highest officials of our government.
I admit I'm terribly disappointed, General. However, I've left instructions for a telephone message to be sent to me at my hotel the minute the demonstration is over.
Professor, I'm not sure that this test should be made without your being there.
What do you mean?
Suppose I order you to go.
But no, that's impossible.
Why impossible, Mr. Barlow?
You must excuse Barlow, General Levitt. He is a little excited.
Excited? What about? Look here, Professor Arkeles. Why don't you want to go to the proving ground?
Must I repeat my previous statement?
This stalling and hedging is very suspicious. By George, you'll go whether you want to or not.
Don't touch that phone. Barlow, be careful.
You can't give me orders in my own office.
You hit him too hard, Barlow. His head was bleeding. He struck the desk when he fell. Yeah, drag him in this closet and lock the door. He knows something, Professor. Yes, the fool suspects something, but how? And we've got to act quickly. I wonder if Lieutenant Wilson has talked. But you said he's still under your hypnotic spell. Perhaps it would be better if Lieutenant Wilson died. Yes. You're going to murder him? No, I'll merely suggest that he kill himself. No, Barlow, if you'll tie up the general... Professor, look at him. What? General Levitt is dead.
Well, here's General Levitt's office, Margot.
No one seems to be here, Lamont.
Well, that's odd. The General was here less than an hour ago. General! General Levitt.
Look, here on the corner of the desk.
Blood. Word to Commissioner Weston at once. Tell him something has happened to General Levitt.
Yes, anything else?
Yes, tell him to send a squad of men to South Pier. I overheard Professor Arkeles and Barlow talking about meeting on a freighter there.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the jail. I'm going to make one more desperate attempt to get John Wilson to talk. You've got to find out what this is all about before it's too late.
You want me to wait here at the jail, Professor Arkeles? No, go down to South Pier, Barlow. I want to be alone with Lieutenant Wilson. Yes. I'll follow after I've taken care of him. All right. But first I'll collect the baggage. But you remember only this, Lieutenant Wilson. See always my eyes in front of you.
Yes.
You will forever do what I tell you to.
Stop! Leave me alone.
No, never. Look, Wilson. See what I have? A knife. Here. Take it. Now listen to me. You are disgraced. Your family disgraced. You have nothing more to live for. Say it.
I have nothing more to live for. I have nothing more to live for.
Then draw the knife across your wrists. It's easy. Try it.
Stop, John. Don't do it.
Shadow!
He's trying to make me...
Keep away from me, Wilson.
I've got you
Let
by
go
the
of me,
arm,
Wilson.
Arkeles. Did you feel the knife yourself?
Yes, you've cut me, you fool.
Your blood is being shed, Professor. Remember what I told you?
Let me out of here. Let me out.
He's gone, John.
Something's happened to me. I feel that I can talk now.
Then talk. Tell me what you know. Arkeles' spell is weakened.
I can't see you, and I don't know who you are, but you've got to help me. I first suspected Arkeles and his crowd when I saw that the steering mechanism of the flying torpedo had an extra attachment.
An extra attachment?
Yes, you see, the flying torpedo is supposed to be steered by radio beams from an accompanying plane. But this extra attachment I'm talking about would render the radio beams ineffective. In other words, the rudder is set so the torpedo will fly in a complete circle and come back and strike the point from which it was sent, like a boomerang.
If it does that in the demonstration today, it will wipe out all the important government officials.
Yes, that's their plan. Just as I made the discovery, Arkeles came into the workshop. I accused him, and he put me under this spell. I tried to talk, but I couldn't.
Never mind that. I'll get in touch with Commissioner Weston. Have him go to the proving grounds. He can stop the test flight of this flying torpedo if he gets there soon enough.
What's the idea of having us wait around here at the South Pier? There don't seem to be anything stirring.
Who are the guys we're supposed to pick up?
Two birds for the name of Professor Arkeles and Barloff.
Foreigners, huh?
Yeah.
What are they going to do, make a getaway?
I don't know. Commissioner Weston just said to make sure we got them, that's all.
If it had been that important, don't you think the commissioner would have come down here himself?
Well, he was coming, but he got a last-minute call to go over the place where they're trying out that new flying torpedo.
Oh, yeah, I read about that. All these inventions...
Now, wait a minute. Somebody coming down the dock. Hey, you! Hey, stop where you are, I'll shoot! What's this all about?
Nothing.
Where are you going?
That is my business.
What's your name? Come on, what's your name?
Are you Barloff?
What is it to you?
Answer me, are you Barloff?
Yes.
Well, that's all we wanted to know.
Come on.
Where are you taking? I have done nothing.
He's got a gun, Sergeant.
What?
I'm sorry, Sergeant. I had to do it.
That's okay. This Arkeles will probably be along in a minute. Put this boy behind those boxes. We don't want Arkeles to...
That's right. Hey, look out. Here comes another guy down the dock.
All right, quick.
Right.
Behind this piling here.
This
Come
one
on.
must be Arkeles.
Yeah, I guess so. Professor Arkeles?
Who are you?
The police. We want to ask you what...
Well, you can't get me to talk. You'll never make
Look
me...
out, Sergeant. He's got a gun there.
Drop that gun,
You
Arkeles.
can't take me. The police can't touch me.
You asked for it.
Oh, you nailed him, Sergeant. Did he get you?
Oh, I'm okay.
Here comes the parole. Must have heard the shots.
Oh, they didn't have time. Oh, Commissioner Weston?
Yes, Sergeant. So you got our man?
Yep.
Is he dead?
I don't think so, sir.
Well, Arkeles, maybe you'll talk.
I'll never talk.
Commissioner Weston.
Shadow, what are you doing here?
We can't waste time, Commissioner. Did you stop the test of the flying torpedo?
Yes, but...
Good. Commissioner, you've saved the lives of thousands of spectators. To say nothing of some of our highest government officials.
Then it was you.
Yes. Yes, I had a friend of mine call you. And now, Professor Arkeles, let's have the story. You haven't much time.
I know. I'm dying, Shadow.
It was a plot against our national defense, wasn't it?
It was.
Who employed you to do it?
That I won't tell you.
But Lieutenant Wilson is innocent.
Yes. Wilson is innocent.
Commissioner, you're a witness. Lieutenant Wilson is cleared.
Yes, Shadow.
And what about General Levitt?
Barloff killed him.
Where is Barloff?
We got him behind these boxes.
How did you know about General Levitt, Shadow?
We found blood on his desk. But this time the blood is yours, Arkeles.
Yes. Mine.
Well, Shadow, Arkeles is dead.
Yes, Commissioner. And you've been instrumental in averting a national calamity. Arkeles is dead. The innocence of Lieutenant Wilson has been
Now, here is John Barclay, Blue Coal's heating expert, with helpful heating hints for you.
Thank you, Ken Roberts. Good evening, friends. I've received numerous letters from homeowners asking what they can do to prevent chimney loss, wasted heat that goes up the chimney instead of through the pipes of your heating system. It is really a simple matter to prevent this, and you will save money on your fuel bills, too. The next time you refuel the fire, move the handle of the turn damper, that plate-like damper inside the smoke pipe, 1/16 of an inch toward the closed upright position. Then, if the fire still burns too freely, close the turn damper another 1/16 of an inch. Repeat this operation until you've found the correct adjustment. Once you've found this ideal adjustment of the turn damper, mark the position on the smoke pipe with a piece of chalk or something that can be plainly seen. Then leave the damper set at that mark. Remember, the nearer the turn damper is set to a closed position, the smaller the chimney loss and the greater the volume of useful heat. If you follow the suggestions that I give you every Sunday on this program, they should enable you to heat your home with the utmost efficiency and economy. However, if you're experiencing trouble with your heating plant, call your nearest Blue Coal dealer and ask him to send a John Barclay trained serviceman to your home to inspect your furnace. This service is free to all Blue Coal customers. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barclay. And here's the official telegram advising of the award the American Police Review has made to the Shadow program. Quote, "The American Police Review salutes the producers and sponsors of the Shadow for their contribution to the cause of better law enforcement. 13,000 police executives throughout the United States read the review. So our purpose is to help them find the best tools and methods to combat crime. The editors of the review have turned a critical ear toward the Shadow program for some time and are gratified to note that your presentation of police roles truly reflects the intelligence and character of the high type of police officer now found throughout the land. We therefore take pleasure in presenting to you the American Police Review Certificate of Award for Distinguished Service to the Cause of Better Law Enforcement. Signed, J. Norval Birch, editor of the American Police Review, Chicago, Illinois." And so, on behalf of Blue Coal dealers and of all those who assist in the weekly programs of the Shadow, we tender our thanks and appreciation to editor J. Norval Birch and the American Police Review for their splendid testimonial. You have just heard a dramatized version of one of the many copyrighted stories which appear in the Shadow magazine. All the characters and all the places named are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
As you sow evil, so shall you reap evil. Crime does not pay. The Shadow knows.
Next week, same time, same station, Blue Coal, America's finest anthracite, will again present another thrilling adventure of the Shadow. Be sure to listen, and be sure to burn Blue Coal, the solid fuel for solid comfort.
This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
The Shadow knows.
Again, Blue Coal dealers present radio's strangest adventurer, The Shadow, mystery man who strikes terror into the very hearts of shopsters, lawbreakers, and criminals. Today, Blue Coal brings you The Shadow's latest adventure, The Bride of Death. The Shadow begins its exciting adventure in just a moment. Meanwhile, I'd like to make a suggestion to all you homeowners. To protect your family's health and save real money in the bargain, burn blue coal. For blue coal gives you uniform, healthful, economical heat all winter long. Its harmless blue coloring is your guarantee of better heat at less cost. So when you're buying fuel, insist on blue coal. It's Pennsylvania's finest hard coal. Order a trial ton from your nearest blue coal dealer tomorrow.
Who are you? What do you want at Castle Money at this hour of the night?
May I come in?
Oh, all right.
I'm the Reverend Colby from the fishing village below. I want to see Mrs. Ackley.
She has retired. Come tomorrow.
I must see her tonight.
Why?
My daughter Isabel is here. She's Mrs. Ackley's companion, but I've come to take her home.
Ah, the girl Isabel. She does not wish to leave.
I've come to fetch her. I'm a man of the cloth, a man of peace, but I will not leave without her. Let me by.
Aka, Matawa, visitor, stop him.
Yes, master, as you command.
Let go of me. Take your hands off me, you heathen devils.
Put him out. Keep him out.
Wait.
Mrs. Ackley.
I will see him. How dare you break into my house this way, Reverend Colby?
Because I will not have my daughter stay in a house that harbors evildoers, Mrs. Ackley. There's talk in the village of heathen rites performed by this man who calls himself Prophet of the Ancient One. This man you've brought to a Christian place from some Asiatic sinkhole of the godless.
Be careful how you speak in the presence of the prophet.
You mean that man there?
Yes, Minister. I am the prophet.
Prophet, where is my daughter Isabel? She is leaving this house on the cliff tonight.
Tell Reverend Colby she does not wish to go. Tell him, Mrs. Ackley.
Your daughter Isabel does not wish to go. Good night, Reverend Colby.
I do not believe you. Let me see her. Let her tell me herself.
She does not wish to see you. Get beyond the iron gates quickly, for in 5 minutes my servants will release my trained guardians.
I'm not afraid of that unholy pack of Black Panthers of yours.
They are dangerous, Minister. Trained in my native land. Trained to hunt and kill animals or men. Go now.
Very well. I'm going, but I'll be back. I'll be back.
Prophet, why do the panthers scream?
It is an omen of death.
Whose death? Tell me. The future is so plain to you. Tell me who is going to die.
I see the minister, Reverend Colby, standing in the pulpit of his church, turning the simple fishing folks against you, Mrs. Ackley.
Reverend Colby is going to die. But how?
The wrath of the Ancient One will strike him down with the voice of thunder and the tongue of fire.
Ago this night, I went to Mrs. Ackley's house on the cliff to bring my own daughter Isabel Colby home. I could not see her, could not speak to her. She is lost to me, and therefore let my own sorrow be a warning to those of you in this village whose sons and daughters may go to that house of the devil, to this man who dares desecrate the name of prophet.
Amen.
Now, let us offer a prayer for the mistress of Casamane. Though rich in worldly goods and worldly knowledge, and so long one of us, kindly and generous until of late, and now ailing in mind and spirit, who hath turned from God to follow the pathway of a disciple of Satan. Let us pray. We beseech thee, have mercy on this poor lost one who hath strayed from the fold.
And so in the midst of those who perished with him, and whom he loves so well, we return the body of our beloved minister, Reverend Colby. Return him to the earth, ashes unto ashes, dust unto dust.
Well, here we are, Margot.
Yes, but where, Lamont? The fog's so thick I can't see a thing.
This is the little village where the Reverend Colby and 10 of his parishioners were killed by a mysterious explosion in his church.
Oh, that was horrible. But, Lamont, it happened days ago. What can we do?
Murder has been committed, Margot. Wholesale murder, and the killer or killers are still at large.
But according to the newspaper report...
Yes, I know. The paper said the authorities have been unable to uncover a possible motive. Investigation is hampered by the refusal of the fisher folk of this quaint little village to cooperate.
Perhaps they're afraid to talk, Lamont.
Yes, it's surprising what superstition can do.
What about this rich Mrs. Ackley you were talking about, Lamont? Where does she fit into the picture?
I don't know, Margot. All I know is that about 3 months ago she returned from the Far East with a man who calls himself the Prophet. This man claims to be the leader of a cult worshipping a deity known as the Ancient One.
Is there such a cult?
There was, but it was stamped out nearly 5 centuries ago because its ceremonies and rituals included human sacrifice.
Human sacrifice?
Yes.
Oh, how horrible. Then you think there is a connection between this so-called prophet, the destruction of this Christian church, and the murder of Reverend Colby?
Margot, I don't know. I'm going into that cottage down the road. I'm going to ask some questions.
I'll wait in the car. Oh, that awful foghorn. It gives me the creeps.
You'll be safe here, Margot, but don't get out of the car.
All right.
Now, Lamont Cranston and the Shadow are going to find out something more about this mystery of the house on the cliff.
Someone's at the door. Don't answer.
And why not, Marthy? You think it's a ghost from the marshes or that devil from the cliff house? Who's there?
Don't open the door, Seth.
Stranger, I've lost my way in the fog.
Well, tell him there's but one road back to the mainland.
Leave this to me, Marthy. Where are you heading for, stranger?
Can you tell me how to get to Mrs. Ackley's place, Casamane?
Yes, I could, but I won't.
Wait! Don't close the door. I'd like to ask a few questions.
Questions, huh? Well, ask 'em, but I'll not warrant an answer to anybody going to that house.
You needn't be afraid of me.
I'm Captain Seth. 50 years I've sailed before the mast, and I'm not afeard of man, devil of the sea. Who be you?
I'll tell you this much, Captain Seth. I'm here to put an end to the thing that made your wife afraid to let you open this door.
I can't see you out there in the dark, but...
Seth.
Huh?
Those panthers. They've come down the village again.
What? Panthers? Whose are they?
The prophets. Step into the house, stranger. They'll tear a man to pieces. Well, what ails you, Marthy?
The blue light. It's him coming in the gate. He always carries it. It's him, the one that calls himself the prophet.
Well, let him come. Get in the house, stranger. Well, Marthy, there's nobody here. Where is that fella gone? He was here a second ago.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he run for it. Zeph, what do you suppose that prophet fella wants of us?
Get away from the door, Marthy. I'll deal with him.
Good evening, my good captain.
Stop where you be. I'll not have the likes of you in my house.
A stranger came here. His car is down the road. The spirit of the Ancient One told me of his coming. Who was the stranger? Where has he gone?
To all your questions, I'll give you one answer. Get your howling beasts and your heathen godless self back to the house on the cliff, or I'll blow you to the very door of Hades.
No man threatens the prophet and lives.
Get out!
Very well, Captain. Since you will not tell me, I will find him. My servants are watching his car. We will find him.
You'll need all the unearthly powers you claim to find a man in this fog. Good night.
I'll find him. He can't be far away.
No. Not far away, but close to you. In the dark shadows and the swirling mist.
Who speaks?
I am looking for a man with blood on his hands. The blood of a minister and 10 innocent people he murdered.
Are you a man hiding in the fog?
Do not try so hard to pierce the fog. You cannot see me, for I am the shadow.
The shadow. A voice without physical presence. Only a voice. No, my friend. In my native India, such things are known. But not here.
The powers of mesmerism have spread beyond the gray monastic walls of the yogi priests. Modern science has advanced their ancient arts.
Perhaps, but I am still stronger than you. Strong enough to do what I have set out to do.
And what is that?
I will not tell you, Shadow. And no one, not even you with your borrowed powers, shall stand in my way, for I am the prophet. Prophet of the Ancient One.
Master, the stranger, he does not return to the automobile, but a young woman is there waiting for him.
So, could it be, Shadow, that you are the stranger we seek, that your companion waits for you? Aka.
Yes, master.
Go quickly, I will follow. Seize the girl. She will be useful to us. Very useful. If I cannot reach the Shadow, I can reach his companion.
Yes, master. Matau and the Panthers watch her. She will not escape.
Do you hear, Shadow?
Yes, I hear.
Save her if you can. You say you are a man. If that is true, then my Panthers will smell you out whether they can see you or not. There's the car. Akka, seize the girl.
Matau at the girl. Matana low. Matana low.
Cover him out, you fools. Take her to the house on the cliff. We will keep her with Isabel Colby. She shall be tortured until she tells us what she knows.
At the beginning of this program, I made you a suggestion. To protect your family's health and save real money in the bargain, burn blue coal. Now, here's the reason for blue coal's superiority. This fine home fuel is selected Pennsylvania anthracite, an American product mined by the Glen Alden Coal Company. And anthracite supplies clean, uniform, healthful heat from cellar to attic, burned steadily, completely, down to a fine, powdery ash. So you see, anthracite combines all of the essentials necessary for perfect heating results. What's more, anthracite is the fuel that furnaces, parlor stoves, and cooking ranges in this part of the country were especially designed to burn. And the cream of all anthracite is blue coal. No wonder it is the largest selling brand of solid fuel in America. No wonder blue coal sales in Auburn, New York this winter show a 15% increase over sales for the same period a year ago. Blue coal is especially prepared for home use. Every carload is laboratory tested for purity and uniform size before shipment from the mine. And every piece of blue coal is trademarked with an unmistakable blue tint so that you can identify it at a glance. So when you're buying fuel, take a tip from Auburn, New York homeowners. Ask for blue coal by name. You can get it in 4 popular home sizes: egg, stove, chestnut, and pea. Order a trial ton from your nearest blue coal dealer tomorrow. You'll find him listed in the Where to Buy It section of your classified telephone directory under the name Blue Coal.
Why did the prophet's servants bring you here to Mrs. Ackley's house?
I don't know. But who are you, and why are they keeping you locked up in this room?
Oh, I'm Isabel Colby. My father was Reverend Colby, the minister of the little fishing village down the cove. He's dead. They've murdered him.
Yes, I know. But you, why are you here?
I used to be Mrs. Ackley's companion and secretary before she brought this man, the prophet, to the house. But now, that Hindu has some sort of hold over her mind. He calls her a high priestess, and she let him lock me up in here.
Oh, how terrible, Miss Colby. What is happening in this house to Mrs. Ackley and to you?
Oh, I don't know. It has something to do with a ceremony that the prophet says he and Mrs. Ackley must perform. The climax of some strange religious ritual they go through day after day in Mrs. Ackley's private chapel. He's changed it into a place he calls the Temple of the Ancient Ones. This morning, he came here and said, I'm to be what he calls the bride of death. They're going to take me to that temple tonight.
Do you know why?
Yes. To kill me.
Oh, no.
Mrs. Ackley, as the high priestess, is going to sacrifice me to that horrible deity they worship.
Don't give up hope, Isabel. There's still a chance we'll get out of this place, both of us. Oh, Lamont, why don't you come before it's too late? Maybe this is...
Aka, unlock the door.
Don't let them take me. Don't.
Isabel Colby, the time has come. The high priestess is waiting to perform her ceremony in the Temple of the Ancient Ones.
No.
Ottawa,
Yes, master.
take the girl Isabel to the shrine. Tell the high priestess to prepare the girl and herself for the wedding of death.
Come. My master commands.
No. I won't go. Take your hands off Miss Colby.
Aka, seize the strange girl.
Let go of me.
Yes, master. I kill her now.
No. Ottawa, take the girl Isabel to the shrine. Wait there for me. Prepare the sacred fires. Purify the sword of the Ancient One. The sacrificial altar is ready. And death is waiting for his bride.
Yes, master.
No, you're going to murder me like you murdered my father.
Now, strange girl, I will deal with you.
No, Prophet. You will deal with me. The Shadow.
Oh, thank heavens you've come.
You, the Shadow here? How? There are panthers chained at every door.
It was easy, Prophet.
Oh, I knew the Shadow would come. I knew he couldn't be far away.
So, you do know this Shadow. This slinking coward who fears to show himself. Who hides himself in the shadows.
Shadow, the prophet is going to kill Reverend Colby's daughter. He's going to make Mrs. Ackley kill her in some fantastic ceremony.
Yes. In a few minutes she will be dead and you cannot stop it.
Clever scheme. You've numbed the failing mind of Mrs. Ackley with drugs. Made her do your will, sign a fortune over to you.
Your knowledge will not help you now, Shadow.
You plan to have Mrs. Ackley commit murder, turn her over to the police, blame her for the death of Reverend Colby, and with her fortune in your hands, discard your role of prophet and disappear.
You are clever, Shadow. Yes, that is my plan. It is a pity such a mind as yours will soon be lost to the world. Within an hour, after Mrs. Ackley has obligingly murdered the girl Isabel, this house will burn. A tank of gasoline in the cellar will explode. And this will be the funeral pyre of the Shadow and his beautiful young companion. But I must go now. They are waiting for me.
You are not going through that door. It is locked.
You lie. It is. Aka! Shawa!
They cannot hear you. They're waiting for you in the temple, and I have the key to the door.
You are not too clever, Shadow. Give me the key to the door or I shoot this girl.
Take that gun away from her head.
Throw the key upon that table, quick.
Don't give him the key. I'm not afraid of him.
I shall count to 3, Shadow. If I don't get the key, it's a pity. But this beautiful girl shall die. 1.
You wouldn't.
2. 3. Ah. You are wise, Shadow.
You fiendish devil. I'll show you the Shadow can do more than warn. Threaten. Take that.
Ah.
Oh, Lamont, are you all right?
Yes, but I'm afraid I knocked the prophet out cold. Margot, take that key. Get out of here. Down the hall. There's a door. Take the prophet's gun. Drive to that cottage I visited tonight. Get Captain Zeth to call the villagers. Tell them they can help to avenge the murder of their friends.
What are you going to do? They may kill Isabel before I can get help.
Never mind. You hurry and get help.
All right, I'll go. I'll get Captain Zeth to round up the people of the village, and then I'll come back.
Very well, Margot. I may need your help. Come back to this room.
I'll be back in a few minutes. saw Captain Death. The people of the village are coming. He's calling them together.
You can't wait for him, Margot. Beyond that door, at the head of the stairs, Death is waiting for Isabel Colby. The prophet's followers are there awaiting his appearance.
But the prophet's still lying here unconscious on the floor.
Nevertheless, he will not disappoint them.
Lamont, I don't understand.
Margot, I'm going to ask you to do a very dangerous thing. I want you to put on the prophet's robe, cover your face with a hood, and walk in there as the prophet.
Oh, very well. I'll do anything I can. You know that.
Do not show your face till you reach the altar. Don't speak. Keep close to Isabel Colby. Watch Mrs. Ackley and leave the rest to me.
Yes, Lamont, I understand. I'm ready.
Metanalo, etilasi calavara, calavara, metanalo, sadamor. O ancient one, vision of eternal life, before thy altar the youthful maiden waits. Thy ancient sword, her spirit, to release unto thine own. Her blood is pledged, her soul is thine. Metanalo etilasi, calavara sadamort. All is in readiness, master.
Metawa, look. The hood covers the master's face. The hour has come for the ritual to begin.
See, master. The girl Isabel is lashed to the altar of the Ancient One. The sacred fires burn in the jeweled torches. All is in readiness, master. All as you have commanded. Metawa, bring Mrs. Ackley. Prepare her to make the sacrifice.
I am ready. Ready to do the will of the prophet. To plunge this sword into the girl's heart. But I am afraid. Help me. Give me the sacred drug to give me strength. The will to do the things you have told me I must do. If I am to be high priestess to the Ancient One.
Look, Matawa. It is strange. The master does not speak. Does not answer us. He goes to the shrine alone. Wait. He turns. He is lifting the hood of his robes.
Akka, look. It is not the prophet. It is a beautiful girl. It is the strange girl. The one the master stayed below to question about the shadow. What has happened to our master? Why do you wear the robes of the prophet?
Akka, Metawa, you have been tricked. The man you serve as a god is a rogue, a charlatan, a fake.
That voice, Metawa. That is not the voice of the prophet. It is not the strange girl speaking. See, her lips have not moved.
No. It is the voice of the shadow.
The shadow. The master warned us to beware of the shadow, Akka.
Matawa, the master must be dead. The shadow has killed him.
Prophet, the time has come. I must drive this sword into the heart of the bride of death. I will not fail.
Don't do it. They're tricking you, making you murder me. Then they'll kill you.
No,
they'll kill you.
No, I shall be a high priestess. I shall live forever like the prophet, like the Ancient One.
Mrs. Ackley! Mrs. Ackley! Drop that sword. Drop that sword, Mrs. Ackley. Drop it, I say.
Drop the sword. Yes, drop the sword. Oh.
Akka, look! This shadow has broken the master's power over this woman.
I am free now. Free of the spell. Oh, what have I done?
He is stronger than the master. We must escape. We must get away.
You will never get away. Never leave this house.
Akka! Matawa! The prophet! That girl wearing my robes! Throw your knives! Kill her! Kill her, I command you! No! No, prophet. We obey you no more. Obey me! You trick us, make us kill. Say you are the true prophet of the Ancient One. You defy me. Don't! Drop the knife! See? The blood runs in his veins. He tells us he cannot die. Now we shall see!
You fools. Now the shadow. will destroy you.
He is dead. The shadow spoke the truth in the tower. He was not the true prophet. The true prophet of the Ancient One was blessed with life, everlasting.
You are right, Arkeles.
Quick, we must get away. Away from this shadow.
You cannot escape for long. Your sins will find you out.
Oh,
Isabel! Isabel!
Oh,
Colby,
you're
you're
safe. Oh, thank you. But won't you tell me who you are?
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I must remain anonymous until my work is finished. I will have to continue being known only as the Shadow.
Now here is John Barclay, Blue Coal's heating expert, with a few words of heating advice for you.
Thank you, Ken Roberts. Good evening, friends. During the month of March, when the weather is very changeable, a cold spell and a warm spell, some homeowners get the impression that they're economizing on fuel by putting only a little coal on the furnace fire during milder days. As a matter of fact, that is one of the surest ways to actually waste fuel. Shallow fires burn coal quickly, have a tendency to go out easily, can't deliver sufficient heat, and make repeated refueling necessary. The truly economical way to fire a furnace is to keep a deep fire bed at all times. It should always be up to a level with the bottom of the fire door. In mild weather, if you like, you can leave a little heavier layer of ash on the grates. This will keep the fire burning very slowly, yet keep enough coal burning to provide sufficient heat should the outside temperature drop suddenly. Let me impress you with this important point. After putting fresh coal on the fire, be sure to leave an exposed spot of live coals directly in front of your fire door. The hot spot will act as a pilot light and ignite the gases that come up from fresh coal. Allow these gases to become ignited before checking the fire. If you follow this method of firing throughout the changeable March weather, you will get the utmost in efficiency and economy from your furnace. However, if you still have difficulty in properly heating your home, call your nearest blue coal dealer and ask him to send a John Barclay serviceman to inspect your furnace. This service is free to blue coal customers. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barclay. And friends, don't fail to take advantage of the free John Barclay service. Phone your nearest blue coal dealer tomorrow. You have just heard a dramatized version of one of the many copyrighted stories which appear in the Shadow magazine. All the characters and all the places named are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
As you sow evil, so shall you reap evil. Crime does not pay. The Shadow knows.
Next week, same time, same station, Blue Coal, America's finest anthracite, will again present another thrilling adventure of the Shadow. Be sure to listen, and be sure to burn blue coal, the solid fuel for solid comfort.